I'm going to be focusing on Luke chapter 12 from verse 16 to 21. This is the parable of the rich fool. In this passage, Jesus gives the parable of the rich fool to teach about the right attitude toward possessions. The rich man was referred to as a fool because, one, he did not honor God. Verse 16 of Luke chapter 12 says, "And he told them this parable. The ground of a certain rich man produced a good crop." For the ground to have produced good crop, God must have made it fertile. And as much as God had provided the rich man with the ground to till, we do not see him expressing gratitude to God in any way. As much as God had given him good health and the strength to work the ground, we do not see him give thanks to God in any way. As much as God had provided the rains and just the right weather, for this man to have a bumper harvest, he is not appreciative to God in any way. At least we do not see it in this passage. The rich fool had no regard for God at all. He failed to honor God and recognize him as the sole provider of all he had. According to the rich fool, God was out of the picture and did not exist. Instead of this rich man honoring God and recognizing him as the source of his provision, he was presumptuous. He presumed that he would be alive in future to enjoy his possessions. And that is why he plans for the future. And verse 19 of Luke chapter 12 says, "And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of good things laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry." You know what? The main problem with the rich fool is that he placed his trust in material possessions. He did not recognize that it's God who enabled him to acquire what he had. He thought it was as a result of his own hard work. And after leaving God out of the picture, God intervenes and shows who is in charge here. And verse 20 and 21 says, "But God said to him, you fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?" Verse 21, "This is how it will be with anyone who stores up things for himself, but is not rich toward God." His presumption was shown to be false when his life was demanded of him that very night. And you know what? He did not live to enjoy what he had saved up. Friends, let us not leave God out of the picture in our lives. Let us remember that God is the source of all our blessings, and we ought to honor him in all we are and all we do. Well, another reason why Jesus referred to this man as a fool is because this man did not bother to help others. All he thought of was me, I, and myself, so to speak. He did not see his wealth as God-given provision for him to minister to others, especially those in need. He thought that wealth was to be stored up and used for his own comfort and ease. Verse 17 to 19 says, he thought to himself, what shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. Then he said, this is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store all my grains and my goods. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of good things laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry. Actually, nowhere in this passage does the rich man think of others. He seems to be so preoccupied with self. He seems just to be thinking about me and I and myself. Friends, let us learn to share with others what the Lord has entrusted to us. Let us learn to give back to God by giving to others. Remember this, we are blessed by God not to hoard our wealth, but to share with others. Well, apart from the fact that he did not honor God and the fact that he did not help others, I believe that this man was referred to as a fool because he also did not humble himself. This man's heart was filled with pride and a sense of self-reliance. Actually, the real issue here is not his possession. The issue here is preoccupation with self. Kindly note how he talks. Only to himself, about himself. And he claims full ownership and power over what he has. Just note that. Verse 17 to 19 again. He thought to himself, what shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. Then he said, this is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of good things laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry. Did you notice how the word I, my, and myself, how those words are repeated in those few short verses? You know, the relentless use of the first person pronoun, I and my, betray a self-absorbed man who is preoccupied with himself and his possessions. His only thought is that he can amass his wealth, hoard and take life easy, drink and be merry. He is a fool. Not because he is wealthy or because he saves for the future, but because he appears to live only for himself and because he believes he can secure his future, his life, with his possessions. What a lie. Dear ones, I pray that God would bless you indeed, but remain humble even as the Lord blesses you with material possessions.